Hello, everyone, and welcome back in for another week of Palmetto Playbook. I'm your co-host, Alan Marcus Hart of the 5 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. producer here at WMBF News in Myrtle Beach.
And I'm TJ Turner. I'm the weekend sports anchor, and we'll hop into our top three of the week. And I'm just kicking off. We've kind of been covering this now. He's been on here a couple times for me. Jackson Koivin. He earned the final playoff spot in the PGA, exactly 70th. The cutoff was 70th. Going into his final three holes, he could not get a bogey at all. He needed to shoot at least even on his final three holes, and that he did. He avoided any catastrophe, because if he would have shot any differently, there was like a chance that somebody could jump him, and the rankings were so close. So at the Wyndham Championship, he secured his spot after, I think this is only his sixth event in the PGA Tour.
It's crazy.
He's 21 years old. He got his first win just a couple weeks ago. That was, I guess that's the first time we talked about him, as I brought him up in my top three when he got his first win, and now he's earning a spot in the playoff.
Yeah, tremendous start to his professional career. Can't ask for much better than that. For my number three spot, I'm just going off the wall, something very crazy, a very unique season. Ticket promotion. I'm going with Akron football, and if you're wondering why I'm shouting out Akron football or that they even existed, that's a fair question. I think they're still running out. They may have even sold out of season tickets at this point, but they're doing a promotion where
I'd buy one for this.
And the tickets were the cheapest ticket was only $75 for the season tickets. But they're running a promotion where they will pick one season ticket holder to run their offense for their first drive against their, I guess it's their home, because they play on the road. I'm trying to think. They play a team. I think they play an ACC team to start the season. But maybe Wake Forest, but I could be wrong. But their home opener against Robert Morris, they're allowing one fan to basically script the offense for that drive. I saw a lot of comments. There was also rumors that there was a lot of Robert Morris fans also buying season ticket holders to see if their fan could get a ticket to see, like, I guess, tell the quarterback to just throw a Hail Mary and let's see if if you throw an interception, it won't be that bad. But
when I'm playing video games, 4 verticals never failed me.
But I think there was also, like, in little print with guidance from the offensive coordinator or whatever, something like with guidance from the coach.
You're going with coaching suggestion plays there.
Well, yeah, but imagine if you were Robert Morris and you're finding out this team is like letting a fan coach the first round.
Definitely holding their opponent to a high standard there.
What was it? The fan will work directly with the head football coach to help design the plays that open the game. It's interesting to say the least, and it'd be funny to see how that plays out.
Run field goal.
Open
it up with a fake field goal.
85-yard field goal.
And then my number two, we're sticking with golf. Moving from the PGA to the Korn Ferry Tour now. As Frankie Harris, he shot a 59 in his final round to win the Pinnacle Bank Championship. He ended up winning it in a playoff, but shooting a 59 in his final round. And afterwards, he said that he had absolutely no idea that he was shooting that low. They had told him, and he was just as surprised as I was when I read the scorecard there. He was like, "Oh, really?"
That's funny.
But 59 is an absolutely insane score on any professional tour, PGA, Korn Ferry, whatever tour you're on. 59 is just an insane score.
Yeah, for my number two spot, we've mentioned the past several weeks about the Women's Professional Baseball League. I'm going to shout out Danae Benitez. She's the catcher for the New York Heights team. She's off to a tremendous start in the Women's Baseball League. She's had let's just put it in her perspective. In the 4 games that they've played, she's had 17 at-bats. She's had 14 hits with a batting average of .824. In those 4 games, she has 5 home runs, 15 RBIs, 6 stolen bases. Just tremendous stat line from her. And if you went to the Banana Ball games in Conway earlier this year in like March, you may even remember her before playing in this league. She was a player for the Loco Beach Coconuts, one of the newer teams in the Banana Ball League. So she has experience at this level. She's a 4-time USA Baseball Women's National Team athlete. Earned gold at the 2019 Pan American Championships and a silver at the 2024 World Cup Finals. She was I think I don't have it pulled up right in front of me, but I think she was the 6th overall pick in the first round of the draft. But good to see her get off to this start. I mean, 5 home runs in 4 games. It's mentioned it for your golf player. I mean, you can't ask for a better start.
Putting up video game numbers.
Yeah, yeah. So wanted to mention her, and just a great start to her to the start of the Women's Professional Baseball League for her.
And then Palmetto Playbook first. We have a joint number 1 for this week, as the North Carolina team has won, or I guess they won on Sunday, correct?
Yeah, I believe it was Sunday.
Sunday, they won the Little League Softball World Series.
Yeah, it was I believe Johnson County. I think that's where they're from, like in the Raleigh area. It's their 2nd title in 3 years. Great performance from the entire team. I think in this championship game, the starting pitcher. I think it was in the final game, or maybe before this. The starting pitcher for the North Carolina team got hurt, and I think she's even the coach's daughter. Got hurt and couldn't continue playing. I don't know if it's the same pitcher, but the pitcher that played in like the game before the final had like 11 strikeouts to lead the team to the final game. They also had some really great defensive plays in that game. I think in like the first inning they had like a diving catch to end the inning, and they a great season, for a great run to the title for them. I mean, like I said, the 2nd title in 3 years, so building a dynasty there, and got a shout out a Carolina team making waves in the Little League World Series. I mean, last year we had the Irmo boys make it to the U.S. Finals, a step away from the Little League World Series final, but to get a win and a 2nd win in 3 years for the girls up there in, I believe, Johnson County, North Carolina, a tremendous feat for them.
Yeah, definitely great. And we have the unofficial start of the high school football season coming up on Friday. I have the jersey for the greatest high school football team in the history to commemorate the start of football season. Remember the Titans?
Yeah.
Greatest sports movie of all time. Greatest high school football team of all time. And so there's going to be kicking things off with the CNB Classic at Brooks Stadium, which they've been doing for I don't even know how many years now.
I'm not sure the exact number, but it's pretty much a staple. Mm-hmm. It's one of the premier jamborees around the area. There's a few others, but I don't know off the top of my head. There's some in the PD as well, but this is like one of the premier jamborees, at least for the beach area schools.
Yeah, all the schools getting to play on the surf turf.
Yeah.
For their jamboree. So we've got Conway versus Aner, Waccamaw versus Socastee, Green Sea Floyds versus St. James, Carolina Forest versus North Myrtle Beach, and Myrtle Beach versus Loris. They start at 6 p.m. on Friday. I guess I'll be out there live for Extra Point. So tune in on at 4, 5, and 6, and to Extra Point at 11 on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, it's always great to have high school football back in this area. I mean, if you're a viewer, I'm sure you know how much football means around this area, especially on Friday nights. I think a few standing points a few interesting things to look out for. I mean, obviously it's a scrimmage, and you don't want players getting hurt and stuff like that, but I think some of these teams will be interesting to watch, especially given their success last year. I know Carolina Forest was probably I think it's fair to say Carolina Forest was the best team in our view. Well, them and South Florence, the best teams in our viewing area last year. But I'm sure Carolina Forest lost a good amount of their pieces from last year. They're moving down from Class 5A to 4A, I believe, this year. So it'd be interesting to see how that works for them, and just to see if they can reload from last year. They were on the verge of making waves in the I think they lost a very close matchup against Somerville to end their season last year. They were pretty good. They were a really good team last year, and just see if they keep that up. And the same goes for Loras. Loras has been really good for the past probably like 3 years, but it seems like the majority of their like star athletes that led them to the success that they had, I think, have graduated last year, or I guess technically in like May, when it'd be interesting to see if they can keep that success going. And I mean, it'd be a tough test against Myrtle Beach, and like I said, it's a scrimmage. I don't think they're. I mean, I think they're probably just playing a half. I don't know the specific rules for the scrimmages, but I'm sure they're probably just playing like 10-minute quarters maybe, or something like that. So, but a test against Myrtle Beach, which, I mean, Myrtle Beach has been a really great program for a long time. They've kind of had some struggles probably within the past several years. They're definitely not at the level that they have been in like a historical sense, but they're still a really good team to be tested up against Loras. I think I'll mention Waccamaw, because I mean they've like been known as a pretty, at least, I mean, this may be just biased to me as a Georgetown graduate and a Georgetown fan. Waccamaw, when you think of Waccamaw, you definitely don't think football, but they've had recent success. They had a pretty good season last year. I don't think they made much noise in the postseason though, but they had a pretty good season. They made but I don't know if their quarterback is still there. He played really well last year. He may still be there. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but they could be a fun team to watch in that matchup against Socastee, which Socastee has been struggling in recent memory as well. But a fun opportunity. Just pray that no one gets hurt. That's the most important thing in these matchups. I mean, it's just about getting reps in, and the final score in the grand scheme of things won't matter. It's just about staying healthy and just learning your team before things actually kick off next week.
Yeah, it'll definitely be good, and we'll definitely be keeping you guys up to date right here on what's going on throughout the entire season.
Like you mentioned, just make sure you stick with Extra Point on Fridays at around 11:15 or so. Throughout not just this week, but throughout the rest of the high school football season. TJ and Jill will bring you all the highlights, or the highlights of the marquee games throughout the season. So just stick with WNBF for that.
Yeah, for sure. And then moving up to the NFL, as preseason got underway on Thursday with the Hall of Fame game to open things up between the Panthers and the Cardinals, as there was some players honored there and then it was a great game. It was, honestly, I'll say it, going into this, I was expecting a snooze fest.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what everyone, I mean, like we kind of hyped up last week about like football being back, but you got to remember, this is like second string and third string players, and you don't, against, to be fair, Cardinals weren't a great team last year, and the Panthers, I mean, they made the playoffs, but they weren't like one of the marquee teams last year. But you didn't really know what you were going to get out of this game. It's still, I mean, like basically what I was talking about, the Jamboree. Most important thing is just not getting hurt and stuff like that. But I know that the fair argument was that this game doesn't matter, but the players didn't get that memo at one bit, because they put on a heck of a show. I'll mention that wide receiver right there, Jalen Brooks, former South Carolina Gamecock. This is either his first or second season with the Cardinals. I didn't know he was with the Cardinals to begin with. The last I remember was him playing with the Dallas Cowboys, but he had 3 catches for 99 yards. But a great game all around.
Yeah, great game, and even ended in a game-winning drive for the Panthers, led by Haynes King, who was picked up after going undrafted this year. A great performance from Carson Beck as well, and I honestly was very surprised when Haynes King went undrafted. I think he should have been in one of the top 4 in the Heisman last year, and he kind of proved why on Thursday, that game-winning drive. On the final play, taking it into, calling his own number there and taking it in for the game-winning touchdown. And also we can't ignore Luke Kuechly.
Well, I was going to mention a few other because, like Hayes King, like you mentioned, I honestly didn't even realize he went undrafted and somehow ended up on the Panthers. He was literally the ACC Player of the Year last year. You mentioned probably should have been in the Heisman candidacy with how great of a season he had with Georgia Tech. But I mean, he looked great once he came in. I guess you could make the argument it was probably against Arizona's like third string, and Arizona only had like maybe two, maybe more than that. And I'm like not that many. They had, I think, they were in the top 5 for draft picks for a reason. So,
Yeah.
But it was a good test for him. I probably exactly what Dave Canales would have wanted in a preseason game, to get a player to have this opportunity to run a 2-minute offense with the game on the line in a game that doesn't really matter that much. But great performance from him. I think there was I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head. There was a Coastal Carolina wide receiver that had a catch in this game. I think he's since been released from the Panthers. But I can't remember his name off the top of my head. It was good to see him at least get on the field and make a catch. Wishing him all the best for the rest of his professional career. Yeah, it was just I can't remember the exact. It was a great game all around. Like you mentioned, also a good performance from Carson Beck as well. He looked like a natural out there, but I think again, maybe it's too early to tell, but Hayes King has looked the part to be the number 2 player behind Bryce Young. And granted, I guess it is just one game, but I didn't see much from Kenny Pickett when he was running the offense. The team looked, they didn't move the ball that much when he was out there on the field. Granted, he only played a quarter, but Hayes King looks really good out there.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see if how much they switch things up this week as we get into the next round of preseason games.
Who are they playing next?
I think the Bears.
I know that's how they opened the season off with. Are they also playing them in preseason? They're the Bills.
Oh, the Bills. Wrong B team.
Saturday, August 15th. So I guess this Saturday.
Yeah, but going into that one, it'll be interested to see how they split up the reps there. I mean, because if you're thinking of Haynes King potentially being the number 2 over Kenny Pickett, do you start Haynes King and have Kenny Pickett play half the game, or give Kenny Pickett half the game instead of just one quarter?
I have no idea how that's going to play.
Maybe if we win the sweepstakes, for we maybe get to call the offense. We could pick our quarterback. You think they get to mess with the depth chart as well?
I very seriously doubt it.
But we can't forget why this Hall of Fame game was between these two teams, as two players that, or I guess one player I grew up watching and one whose career was cut very short.
Yeah.
Not for any terrible reasons. He just, I guess, didn't want to play anymore.
Well, injuries. If you're talking about Luke Kuechly, injuries.
Yeah, but Luke Kuechly, who was definitely on a fast track to become he is one of the best linebackers that the game has ever seen. Probably the most cerebral linebacker I've ever seen. Clark Kent out there leading the Panthers defense. I mean, he was the Panthers defense, him and Thomas Davis, for his whole career. I mean, he was one of the guys that would go out there and know the offensive plays before they even called them. I remember the one play where he I forget which team they were playing, but he yelled to the quarterback, told them what they were about to run. And
but a great legacy for him, like you mentioned, a career cut short, I believe, to injury. I think he had some concussions throughout his career and probably just decided, you can't fault him for that because there's a life out after football, and you got to protect that as well. For him, his family, anything like that. But when he was on the field, he was the best player on the Panthers defense. Had great seasons, all pros. I believe I think won defensive rookie of the year. I don't know off the top of my head if he won I think he won defensive player of the year award as well. But just a tremendous career for him. It'd be probably a story of what could have been, but just thankful for the years that he was with the Panthers, and thankful for his contribution to the Carolina organization. and just it's still great to see him go out on top like that, and I'm glad he got the recognition that he deserved. And like you mentioned, there was quite a few other names in this year's 2026 NFL Hall of Fame class. The other player with ties to the Hall of Fame game is Larry Fitzgerald, the great wide receiver from the Arizona Cardinals. You had Drew Brees, the quarterback from the New Orleans Saints. Adam Vinatieri, the kicker, who his career with the Patriots and the Indianapolis Colts, and then Roger Craig, a running back. But a great list of names to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and yeah.
One of my favorite NFL stats ever is, because they bring it up like every year pretty much, is the Larry Fitzgerald drops versus tackles stat.
I think it rings a bell, but I don't know like the.
So during Larry Fitzgerald's career, which he spent his entire career with the Cardinals,
yeah,
which is very rare in this day and age to spend your entire career with the same team. I mean, even in college at this point, to do that is kind of crazy.
Fair.
But in the NFL, even more so. He spent his whole year with the Cardinals, and during his tenure there, he had more tackles than drops on his career.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Where I thought you were going with it, but yeah,
just an absolutely insane stat. Every time it's brought up, it just looks crazier and crazier. And just seeing the receivers now and watching him basically my whole life with the Cardinals, I've seen him crush my dreams as a Packers fan. As I just remember him running down the left sideline in the playoffs to end our season one year, but didn't quite like him that day. But
yeah, well,
definitely great to watch.
Speaking of crushing dreams, I guess you could mention Adam Vinatieri. I believe he was the New England Patriots kicker that kicked the field goal that won the Patriots the Super Bowl. It was what year? The early 2000s against the Panthers when they made it to the Super Bowl. But just great careers for all five of these guys. I'm glad that they got that recognition.
Yeah, absolutely. And then switching over to baseball, as the Pelicans had a road stint against the Columbia Fireflies in their most recent series. They lost that one 4-2, but interestingly enough, their 2 wins were 14-3 and 10-1.
It was a wild series because I think they also got no hit in this series. So they're one game, it was like a combined no hitter for the Columbia Fireflies, maybe their first in team history or first in a long time. But then, like you mentioned, there are these performances where they win by almost 10 runs or 9 runs in both games. So it's a lot can happen, I guess, in these minor league games.
Yeah, the Pelicans have had a very interesting season. I mean, it's you can't really judge a minor league team on their wins and losses because it's like if a player does well, they leave, and that's the kind of the catch one thing with lower tiers of baseball is that basically if a player's playing well, they leave the team. So if the team's doing well, they're not going to be doing well for long because all the players that are doing well are going to move up to the next level. So it's great for the sport, it's great for the game, but for fans of the Pelicans, and then you go into the stadium and all of a sudden all your favorite players are gone.
Yeah,
it's definitely interesting to see. And we've got I like that Ethan Conrad has stayed for a while. He's our center fielder. I mean, he kind of jumped back and forth over the past couple of years. As he was drafted in the first round in 2025, and so he's kind of been back and forth between here, South Bend. I think he's played in Iowa a little bit for the Iowa Cubs, but he's kind of been bouncing around. He had a home run in the final game of that series, the one they won 10-1. He accounted for 6 of those runs.
Well, that's good for him, which, I mean, I hopefully...
So I mean, maybe he's gone now, too.
Well, maybe it will skyrocket his season, his career. I mean, if you were a Cubs fan, you don't want your first-round draft pick playing in low-A baseball for their career. I mean, granted, this is only his second year in the, professional baseball league, but you want to see him at least make those jumps to the next level. I think it's very fair to say a first-round draft pick should not be playing at this level for more than probably 2 years, probably even at the most. But we wish him all the best. I'm sure he's had some good stints throughout there. But yeah, like you mentioned, it's a wild roller coaster to say the least. in minor league baseball with, how the nature of the game is where players, obviously hoping to move up in their career. But it's good to have the Pelicans around and at least have minor league baseball. And like we've mentioned throughout the season, like all the renovations and stuff that they've done at the stadium, they at least have a really great game experience regardless of what happens on the field. The organization has no control over that, but what they can control, they've done a really great job of improving everything around the stadium.
We've got the Power Rangers coming on Friday. I can't remember which. I think two of the colors of Power Rangers are going to be there. So if anybody's planning to meet, if you want to meet the Power Rangers, they'll be at the game on Friday. You can catch some baseball.
I'm sure you're sad that it's going to fall on the same day as the
I gotta go cover
jamboree.
I gotta go cover the jamboree at Coastal Carolina. Maybe I'll try and skip back and forth in between the jamboree games there. Go meet the Power Rangers for a little bit and then go back and watch some football again.
Yeah.
But then moving to the big leagues now, the Braves as they dropped their series in New York against the Yankees. They avoided a sweep in that one. With a win on Sunday after dropping the first two games. And they're tied. They're currently tied as of recording on Tuesday morning with the LA Dodgers for the third best record in the MLB. And they're also in a series right now with the Mets, who have been one of the most interesting teams in the MLB. They started off the season about as bad as you can. Yeah. And then they've bounced back. After they paid Juan Soto all of that money, they
have like the second highest payroll in baseball behind the rival of literally everyone in the league at this point, the LA Dodgers, like you mentioned. But a wild season so far for the Mets. One of the worst teams in the league to begin the season, but they've slowly, I guess, they're
making their way.
They're still, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 teams worse than them right now in the league, but they won their first game against the Braves. The Braves got off to a bad start in that first inning. They honestly could have been out of the inning if the catcher would have challenged the called for ball strike. The umpire called it a ball 4, which allowed the runner to advance to first and the runner on first to advance to second. I feel like the catcher probably should have. Granted, hindsight's 20/20. If he would have lost that challenge, losing a challenge in the first inning would have been bad. But upon replay, it was very clear that was a strike, and which would have gotten them out of the inning. And then later in that inning, they gave up a grand slam to the Mets. The final score was like 8-5, I believe. The Braves they had relatively success over the past week. We mentioned that they had the series against the Nationals. They won that series against the Nationals. They swept the Marlins. They unfortunately lost two of 3 games to the Yankees. One of those games very close. There was some pitching controversy that gave the Yankees the edge in that one, where they called a phantom balk, I guess you could say.
I was watching that one, and it also got Walt Weiss kicked out of the game. And I was also watching that game, and the announcer laid out this stat. Chris Sale's only been called. So Chris Sale's been pitching in the MLB for 16 years.
Yeah.
That he throws 100 pitches a game. There's 162 games in the year. Granted, he's probably playing maybe half of them.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pitches. Yeah. That's a lot of pitches. He's been called for 3 balks in his entire career. That was the 3rd one. So I can't imagine he's actually doing anything wrong. And then they showed a clip of what they called him for. He moved his lead foot 2 inches to the right. And then they showed a clip, and he did it on every single pitch during the entire game. So I guess the umpire just decided that time he did it, it was not okay. So.
Yeah. Unfortunate for the Braves because it gave the Yankees a run, and they ended up winning that game. And on that 3rd game on Sunday, like you mentioned, Chris Sale was still arguing with the umpire and got thrown out before the game even started. But the Braves, hopefully they can recapture the series against the Mets. You'll obviously know the results of Tuesday's game before, as you're listening to this, and then after that they'll have the Diamondbacks. They'll have the Diamondbacks and the Twins coming up. Twins are putting on the Diamondbacks and the Twins. The Twins are just under 500, and then you have the Diamondbacks who are, I believe, like 8 games above 500. So hopefully the Braves can make get some wins there. Obviously, we come closer, there's still a lot left to be played, but want to pick up these wins, especially. I mean, you're only 3 games back from the best team in baseball by record standpoint, the Milwaukee Brewers, who are at 74-45 right now. You're still tied with the LA Dodgers, and hopefully we can get things going. I believe we have if I'm doing my math right, 6.5 game over or 7.5 game over the Philadelphia Phillies as of recording. Just get some ground on the Phillies and keep the momentum going for the Braves' sakes.
Yeah, and then over the past week, Coastal Carolina men's and women's basketball both announced their schedules, and there's some big names on the schedules with the men's highlighting those big games against power conference teams. They're going to play at Duke, at Tennessee, and at Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Not only are they power conference schools, they are power conference basketball schools. We're not playing power conference schools that have a basketball program. We're playing power conference teams that are known for basketball.
Yeah, Justin Gray, the head coach for the Coastal men's basketball team, definitely putting a formidable schedule to definitely hope some experience his players with probably a lot of new faces around just the nature of how college athletics is with the transfer portal. And how things played out. They had some seniors last year that are no longer on the team. But there are a lot of new faces for Coastal, and it'll be a lot of tough tests in their non-conference schedule. Hopefully we get them bat approved for the Sun Belt play once that starts. But like you meant, the third game of the season, literally the third game of the season at Duke.
It's hard for North Carolina to play at Duke. The Coastal's going in there.
Yeah, so Coastal, the men's team will have their, I believe this is an exhibition. Technically their second game of the season because the first one is an exhibition. That doesn't count. They have Columbia International on October 28th as an exhibition. Then they host Eastern Michigan on November 2nd. I believe that's the game, like the Sun Belt MAC Challenge that they've been doing. So hosting Eastern Michigan there, and then literally going up the road to Cameron Indoor Arena to play Duke, which fingers crossed, I'm hopefully manifesting it into existence that we can go to that game, like in some capacity.
Please, I will go cover that. I will go cover that game like it'll be the greatest coverage you ever did see. And Alan Marcus, I need a photog, so we'll try and get that going. But yeah, we're going with the quick turnaround from Columbia International to Duke University within, I guess, 7 days.
Yeah.
Within a week.
Yeah, with basically a week out.
Yeah.
But I mean, other games they're going to be hosting Winthrop at home. That was a good matchup, renewing the rivalry from the Big South days, and it was a very close game if I remember correctly last year against Winthrop. Honestly, I think it was a very intense game. We got some physical at some points, but they're playing Winthrop at home. They're on the road at East Carolina, and then you have the Sun Belt schedule ahead of them.
Yeah, I mean, last year this men's basketball program surprised everybody last year.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people were looking at another year of rebuilding and growing pains, and we were thinking Justin Gray was going to continue to kind of do his slow upward trajectory. We thought maybe 10, 12 wins, and they shocked everybody. They went, I believe, 19-13 last year.
I think so, yeah.
Which was way better than anybody could have asked for.
I mean, considering they only had like 11 wins the year before that, that's a much better recipe. I don't know what we're going to get from this team because, like we mentioned, there's a lot of new faces in this program. So who knows what will happen? And with that non-conference schedule, you can imagine there's going to be quite a few losses on the record. But we'll switch over to the women's side of things.
They'll be ready for that conference schedule, though. I mean, after going into Cameron Indoor, I don't know if heading up to Boone's going to scare anybody. Sorry, Sarah.
So switching over to the women's basketball, their schedule released for next year. Obviously, they had a down year last year, hoping that they can get back to winning ways. They got some good matchups as well. They're on the road at Indiana and at NC State. Both teams that have had some success in recent years. They're even playing on the road at College of Charleston, who I believe made the tournament last year after winning their conference. I think maybe I'm thinking of their softball program that won, but it's the women's team's also hosting. I believe that's East Carolina. Maybe they just have it listed on their schedule as ECU, which is not what the men's program had, but hopefully a good season nonetheless for them as well. Their home opener is November 5th against Johnson University, and they have 2 games. 2 of their first 3 games are at home against Johnson University and then Jacksonville following it up. But wishing them the best. I'm sure there's some new faces in that program as well. But hopefully Kevin Pedersen can get things going again, and hopefully an exciting season for the Coastal Women's program.
Yeah, if we can get our way into Cameron Indoor for the men's game, I will try my luck. If we can make that happen, I will try my luck again for trying to get into that women's game at Alabama. If we can swing both of those, I would definitely.
Wait, are they playing
happy.
are they playing at Alabama?
Yes, we have at Alabama, at NC State.
Oh, I didn't even
home against Eastern Carolina. They've got some big games on their schedule as well. And both teams are definitely not shying away from tough opponents in the non-conference schedule. Yeah, we've got at Alabama, NC State, and at Indiana.
Yeah.
Which is like the mecca of college basketball, and everybody's always, I guess, college football now too. Apparently, Indiana's building themselves a dynasty, I guess, across sports. I know Indiana's been known for forever.
I believe it's in
basketball.
Assembly Hall, I believe.
Yes. Yes.
Another great place to go watch a college basketball game at.
Maybe we can try and get there too.
That's all. I don't know. That might be pushing our luck. But yeah, so switching from basketball now, we'll throw in a quick local mention. We'll mention.
We probably should have thrown this in honorable mention with our tops of the week.
Yeah, we'll save. I can say we're saving the best for last.
Oh yeah,
that's what we're doing. We're a familiar name that we've mentioned several times on this podcast. Julian Brown, or J.J. Brown, as he's more commonly known as, Myrtle Beach High School senior. First of all, two notes of significance for him: committing to Texas Tech for his college career, and then if I can pull it up, he won, I believe, the high jump at the USA Junior Olympics. I'm trying to think of the official. I thought I took a picture of it.
Was this the New Balance one?
It was somewhere in California. It was
because I know there's like the New Balance, which is the Junior Nationals, and they've got the one in Oregon. But I
think it's somewhere in California. I can't remember if I thought I had it pulled up, but I don't. But he won a gold medal in the high jump there. So it's good to see him continue that success. And just continue to shout him out. Great job, and great in high school, and hopefully that continues at the college level at Texas Tech.
And we'll be watching him this fall. He plays football as well.
Yeah.
I remember when we talked to him when he had originally broken the record for the high jump in the state. He was planning on going and playing football and running track in college. I'm not sure exactly. It says he's committed for track, but I wonder if he's going to try and walk onto the football team as well.
I don't know. That'd be very. I mean, even I remember Nick Harbor when he came to South Carolina. He was also. I mean, now he's more on the football side of things than the track side of things. He was also a tremendous track athlete coming into high school or coming into college. But I don't know I don't know if the two sport will work. Maybe, but I mean, I'm not going to put anything past him. He's J.J. Brown's a great athlete. I remember covering him at Myrtle Beach games in years past, and one of the better players on that team. So, wish him the best, whether it is track or football. Wish him the best.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll be back here next week to recap everything and preview our first official week of high school football right back here on Palmetto Playbook. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe.